I happen to be dropping this video on raid day, so if you're going for it, good luck. There are a couple tips I want to go over. There's a crazy interaction that happens, and I pinpointed why it's happening. Some of you may have been doing this, not knowing it, but it takes a couple specific things to happen. Now, I've made a couple videos on Warlock, which, by the way, what I'm talking about today works with all three classes, and it's wild. But in those Warlock videos, I talked about Tangles and the Fury Fragment. For that specific build, it was around melees, a melee build. And the Fury Fragment states that damaging targets with the Tangle grants melee energy. So, not to get it twisted, for a melee build, for the melee energy, you do want to throw it. You want to hit targets with it, especially high-ranking targets, to get the most energy, to reset your melee. If you shoot it and hit the same targets, and I said that that would be a last resort, if you're going for a melee build to get melee energy, you need to throw it. So that's a fact with how that fragment works with melee energy. But there's something that you can do with Tangles that they probably shouldn't be doing. And I asked like 7 random people if they knew about it, none knew. So if you do know about this, cool. Little refresher, and the reason why it's happening. It's a bug, surely unintended, but this artifact mod right here is the culprit. Untangler. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon suspends targets damaged by the explosion. And I checked all of these mods that have to do with strand, like another strand mod is Threaded Blast. Destroying a tangle with a strand weapon creates a larger, more damaging explosion. And you do want both of these, by the way. More damage, larger radius on that tangle. But the other one, and I quote, suspending targets to damage by a tangle for whatever reason, and even on the actual icon, it has a melee symbol. For whatever reason with this mod, it codes the tangle as a melee. And here's what that means.
Two for one. Triple down.
You must have a strand weapon. No kinetic, no arc, no solar, no void, you get it. Has to be strand. With this artifact mod, when you hit the tangle with the strand weapon, the tangle will transfer the effects of whatever melee exotic piece you have on. So in this case, the necrotic grips. Every single hit will do the effect. So necrotic grip just requires a hit. So every one that it hits, it will apply the poisoning. And when they down, just like a necrotic grip down, they explode a little bit and try to spread it. And not to mention, this will get you unraveling rounds from the artifact perk or from the fragment that states unravel rounds you get from a powered melee final blow. So with Warlock, another big one is Fellwinter's Helm. Every enemy that is downed will emit the Fellwinter debuff around them. Just absolutely nuke an area, and what's left is going to be debuffed. Who knows, maybe get a tangle down, debuff the area, it debuffs a boss. Before your tangle cooldown is over, another one spawns from, let's say, a teammate. You shoot it, the explosion is going to do debuff damage, and then debuff anything that came in. I checked Winter's Guile. Yes, that works too. In Shira, like, the base explosion damage is like 2,200, 3,300, I forget. It's one of those two numbers, but whenever you get the stacks up of Winter's Guile and shoot that tangle, it transfers the Winter Guile stacks. So hitting 10,000 plus. Things like Karnsteins, of course, are going to work. And with that, maybe you're low health, nothing can be meleeed. You can shoot the tangle from a distance. If it downs a target, you're going to get Karnsteins to proc. It's not just Warlock, though. Moving on to Hunter and Titan. Like, Hunter, probably the worst of what I tested. However, like, the Assassin's Cowl is probably the best option. Because remember with that one, powered melee final blows grant you invisibility. Same deal as Karnsteins. Maybe in a pinch, you see a tangle far away, shoot it with a strand weapon from a distance, and if it downs something, you will go invisible. Sealed Ahamkara Grasp, remember with that one, just damaging with your melee reloads your weapon. Once you explode that tangle, if it touches an enemy, it will reload your weapon. And you also have the Strand Artifact mod where you can throw your grenade to reload your weapon, so you have like double going. Other melee exotics like Kepris, Atheris need those specific things, right? So the knife, smoke, not gonna work. For Titan, unfortunately, Severance Enclosure does not work. And in theory, from what we know about this little bug and what's going on, it should, but it doesn't. It would have been one of the better ones, but it does work with something like Syntheseps. Same deal. Enemies are around you. If enhancements is up on your screen, the explosion damage will transfer to the extra melee damage. Same deal with Worm God. Get the stacks up, the explosion damage transfers to whatever stack you had of Worm God. So in general play, of course. And if you dare run Strand in the new contest this weekend for the new raid, this is there. I'm going to be using it. I'm going to be utilizing it with my necrotic build. And if there are multiple Strand users, that's where this is going to be best if you have on one of these melee exotics. More tangles, more options. Again, you need a Strand weapon. You need to down it with a Strand weapon. And the top ones to me, we have the Queen 600, Perpetualis, and then the Circular Logic. That's the machine gun. After that, you can get round robin to work with a good PvE roll. Then of course we have Quicksilver Storm, the exotic sidearm. It has to be Strand. This is pretty powerful on its own. And then we think about all the ways that we can make tangles, especially in like a 3-man up to 6-man fire team. Quicksilver Storm Catalyst creates a tangle. The new exotic sidearm is really good with Strand. The other thing I want to go over is Suspend and Golden Tricorn. And again, best for Warlock. And to be completely transparent, I haven't tried it on the other classes. The Warlock has the Mind Spun aspect. We have the Shackle Grenade, where you throw it, detonates on impact, suspends targets, but with the aspect, you can consume it, and for like 24-25 seconds, you have Weaver's Trance. Final blows while Weaver's Trance is active creates a suspending detonation. There are other ways to suspend, but Warlock, it's pretty effortless, especially when you combine it with Threat of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. You can loop it with the Golden Tricorn weapon, and I'm going to use this Perpetualis, which, by the way, Perpetualis as a 600 auto, it's got some Gnawing Hunger vibes. This thing is pretty incredible in PvE. Haven't taken it into the Crucible yet, but I can't wait to craft it. Like, get one of these. Golden Tricorn, Final Blows. Down someone, you get 15% more damage. While the buff is active, grenade or melee kills of the same damage type greatly increase the damage and duration. So check this out on Warlock. When you consume that grenade, those Final Blows cause Suspend. Well, the act of suspending actually creates Golden Tricorn ×2. So you can get a kill, consume the grenade, and just start going to town. Not to mention a Strand Surge on top, doing 50% more damage with the Strand Surge, maybe 2 or 3. And by the time that you're done, it will loop and you can do it again. So, again, for the raid general play, if you're using this grenade, it is absolutely nuts with the Golden Tricorn weapon. Now, the other one is that machine gun, Circular Logic. The one that I have is Feeding Frenzy Golden Tricorn, just kind of works. Same deal. Machine guns are so much better with the reserves. They actually feel right. Like Bungie, Sniper's next, then possibly hand cannon damage or just primary damage. But machine guns are feeling really, really good. And with this one, same thing. Get a surge going, get a final blow, consume the grenade. Golden Tricorn ×2 is just going to come up as you're just downing everything, and you can loop it. And because of this, I do have a loadout with this AR and this machine gun for the raid. I'm going to see how it goes. And of course, there's a lot of other options that I have. And of course, going to be creating tangles as all this is going on. So when I shoot them with one of these weapons, Necrotic Grip's going to go off. But I want to get this out just in case you are using Strand in the raid. And just in general, maybe as you're going through the campaign, on any of your characters, you can put on Synthos for your Titan, maybe Assassin's Cowl for the Hunter. Hunter's got to be the worst out of all this. But you can have a lot of fun with this. I wanted to let you know. And if you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. If you're doing the raid today, good luck. If you're watching this video at a later time, maybe this got patched, maybe not. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am Cool Guy.